Hello everyone, if you don't already know who I am, I'm Skyward Sword, and I wanted to celebrate Zelda's 40th by talking about some of my memories that I've had playing most of these games. There's only like a handful that I haven't played, or haven't really played much of, maybe played a little bit and then couldn't really get into it. And this was years ago, so now I could probably try again and maybe get into them, but aside from that, I don't really do these, so this is kind of my first time doing a little discussion type video. It's probably going to be really beefy. I did sit down and record this the other day and I tested it and my mic was working, but apparently it didn't record it for like half of my talk, so that was great. So I just decided I would just redo it all. To start, I'm gonna start with what do I love about Zelda. So some of the things that I really love about Zelda is the lore, like the history with the three goddesses, and all the games kind of almost tell a similar story, but not quite, which kind of makes sense if it's a legend that gets lost in translation. But a lot of like the core things stick around. I know from game to game it can vary, and sometimes we don't really get as much of an answer like about the Triforce in the last two games, but like the three goddesses, the Triforce, those are like the main things that kind of go. And even if we don't hear about the three goddesses, we have like the dragons in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild with Farosh, Dinral, and Majora, symbolizing like Din, Furore, and Nehru. But I like the lore in Zelda. That's one thing. Another thing that I really like about Zelda is all the puzzles and the puzzle aspect. I love solving all the puzzles. That's just what makes Zelda fun to me. Is the puzzle's probably like up there. Like it's definitely like the first or second thing that I love the most about Zelda. But another thing that I really love is like the adventuring and exploration. I really like going around, finding things in the world, talking to different characters, getting side quests, realizing like, oh, okay, this person needs a notebook that they forgot somewhere, and then later on you're like traveling around, you find a notebook and you're like, oh, cool. Or you need a certain item for somebody and you find this item and you're like, oh, I don't know what this is for yet, but you know, I'll figure it out then. And then you see like somebody's like, oh, I lost this item, blah blah blah. You're like, oh, you know what, well, I found that. Or like, oh, I know who to give this to, like if you talk to them prior. Another thing I really like is the dungeon solving. The dungeons are like peak. Like I love dungeons in Zelda. They definitely got better in Tears of the Kingdom compared to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's dungeons were a little bit of a letdown, I won't lie. But they're getting better. They're getting better. So I have high hopes for the next game. And then final two things. So I kind of like mentioned the characters a little bit. So I really like the characters. A lot of them are really wacky. They have a lot of personality. The final thing that I really like about Zelda are like the specific items used to perform specific tasks. And I know we're getting away from that a little bit with these open air games, but you still have like certain things like the champion abilities and your Zonai powers, your Zonai abilities. Like you use those for certain situations. They're not as niche as say like a boomerang needing to like use to like hit a switch or like get a Skulltula from far away. It's not necessarily like exactly the same feeling, but it is kind of there in its core. So that's another thing that I really like about Zelda. So to start, I'm gonna kind of hop around games. I'm not really going in a timeline or game release specific order. It's more so the order that I can best remember what I've played them in. So to start, I'll explain a little bit as I go to. To start, I'm going to talk about Ocarina of Time. This was like my introduction to Zelda. I remember my dad playing this on N64. I was 4 years old watching him play. Can't really remember much about being 4, but I remember Ocarina of Time. Like especially the like beginning areas, like the Kokiri Forest, Death Mountain, Kakariko Village, Zora's Domain, Lake Hylia. And I even remember my dad trying to go to the Gerudo Desert as a kid, and the guards are standing there like, oh, you can't get in, you little boy. Like even that I remember all the way back then, and it's just, it hits the nostalgia for me, even though I didn't really like play it until a little bit later. But Ocarina of Time is just a super special game. Like I remember him handing me the controller and I just run around Kokiri Forest. I couldn't do much. I was 4 years old and I wasn't like super gifted at playing games at that point. It wasn't until a little bit later that I got good. And even then sometimes I'm not very good, but I still have a great time regardless. It wasn't until I was like 10 or 11 that I revisited Ocarina of Time. I remember the jump from becoming like young Link to adult Link, and the dungeons and figuring out where to go became a lot harder and more of a struggle. The Forest Temple was definitely like an eye-opener, like, oh, okay, shit's getting real now. And, you know, the Fire Temple was another one that was challenging, the dreaded Water Temple. But once I got to the Shadow Temple, I was like stuck. And I didn't revisit the game until like a few months later, maybe even like a year or so later. Let that brain develop a bit. And then I would return to it and be like, oh, why was I stuck? This was easy, like why couldn't I figure this out? So that's kind of like my little spiel on Ocarina of Time. I did get the 3DS version when it came out, and I remember vividly like playing that for 3 days almost consecutively. Like obviously I would eat and stuff, but I remember playing it in the car. We went to my brother's house. I was like playing it outside because it came out in the summer, and it only took me 3 days, and I think my end time was like 21 something hours. So I was not like a speedrunner, but I was locked into the 3DS version, and I actually don't really have any qualms with the 3DS version. I know some people don't really like it. I really like that the boots were an item. You didn't have to keep pausing your screen. You could just, you know, click. And with the DS, you actually had more, you had like 2 more buttons that you could have for items. So that made that a little bit of quality of life stuff. But other than that, like, I like both versions. I could play either version. The only thing that's like kind of the bummer is just like the iron boots and the hover boots in the OG versions. I actually played it on GameCube then, because quick story, I did tell this before on live stream, but I have a lot of aunts and uncles, and this one set of my one aunt and uncle, they would watch us a lot, and my dad, I guess, wasn't playing the N64 as much anymore, so he gave it to them so that we would have something else to do while we were there, and I guess they ended up getting rid of it. I don't know how true this story is. This is just what I've been told. It could be much different, but this was what I was told, like, growing up. So we kind of like lost Ocarina of Time. Zelda became lost to me. I played some other games in between, but it wasn't until Twilight Princess that I jumped back in, and it became my favorite Zelda game. And it's probably why, because it was my reintroduction, and I just played it so much and absorbed it like to its fullest, or at least as much as I think that I did. I was about 9 years old, somewhere between 9 and 10 when I did get Twilight Princess. Now I remember seeing it like at Walmart. And I still, to this day, I still love wolves and dogs a lot. But back then, at that age, I really liked them. Like, dogs especially. I was really into dogs. At this point, I had 2 DSs. I had, like, the original blue one, which I don't have anymore. And I had the black and red one, which I also don't have anymore. I have the 3DS XL, so we're still good. Can still play them DS games and 3DS games. But I had these 2 DSs, and I had a friend that didn't have one, so I was like, oh, well, you know what, and at this time I didn't have a 3DS, but I was like, oh, you know what, I don't need my original one. I can sell this one to my friend and use that money to buy Twilight Princess. So that's what I did. I sold my DS to my friend and bought Twilight Princess at Walmart. And I remember being like super stuck in the beginning, like right in the beginning in Faron Woods. Like, I don't even think I was in Faron Woods yet. It's that part when you're chasing after all the kids, like Tallow, Mallow, and Beth, and Tallow's still missing. But you get into the woods, and you know you have the bokoblins in there. But I thought you had to like jump over the like stone rock pillars, whatever you want to call them. I thought you had to jump across those to like get across. But you don't do that until you're a wolf later on. So I don't know what happened, but it clicked to me. I'm like, you know what, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do. So I like walked around. I played the Wii version, so I walked around to the left. And I found the little cave there with the treasure chest with the key in it to get through the gate across the other side. And then from there, it was pretty much smooth sailing from there. I mean, I got a little stuck here and there, especially like the Sacred Grove with the puzzle trying to get to the Master Sword as a wolf. That definitely took me a little while. But Twilight Princess is super, super special to me. Like I said, like I love wolves and dogs, so like Link being a wolf, it was awesome. And I remember my neighbors playing it too, and I say to them like, what if you could be like a wolf whenever you wanted? Like, because at that point we were only a wolf when we had to do the Twilight Realm areas and like purge the area and get the light tears back. So then once you get to the point where you can like transform whenever you want, I was like, oh, this is sick. It was so awesome. I really adore the crap out of the game. There's honestly like nothing that I dislike about it. I just get a little bit of anxiety in the Twilight Realm when you in the Twilight Palace of Twilight, when you have to get like the soul orbs from the hand, and it has like that creepy ass music. That always gives me major anxiety, but I do it. and it's fine every time. So I work myself up for no reason. I'm like, when I'm done with it, I'm like, oh, that really wasn't so bad. But every time I go to like play the game, I get to that point. Always major anxiety. Min's Lament is my favorite Zelda song. Some people may know that. So I'm always like I don't want to say hyper excited for that part because it's such a sad part in the game since Min is like dying. But I'm like, oh yeah, time for my banger. I would play this game all the time when my friends came over. Like, I'd be like, here, watch me play Twilight Princess. Or like, or I did have a few friends that were in Zelda, so I would go to their house and help them get through certain parts and stuff too, or watch them play. So if any of my friends end up watching this, I apologize for the amount of times I just made you watch me play Zelda. They weren't held at gunpoint or anything. They literally could have been like, alright, let's do something else, but hey, I was in love with playing Zelda, and I did forget to mention with Ocarina of Time, my younger sister would watch me play all the time, and she really liked watching me play Ocarina of Time because she liked all the songs. It would make her take a nap. So that was something too. Like, my sister always liked watching, and she even does that to this day too. Like, as an adult with her husband, she gives him the controller and is like, here, play this, because she cares about the story and the lore, but she just doesn't really want to fight anything. But that reminds me then of this other memory with my other sister, my older sister, and it's with Twilight Princess. And I don't know why we got up so early or something. It was either really early or like really late at night or something. I just remember her being like, all right, I'll go downstairs with you and you play your game. So we go downstairs, and she didn't want to watch me play. She just was there because I was probably being like a little weenie and was scared of being in the basement alone or something. As one does when they're like 9 or 10 years old. But she was like trying to sleep, and I was at that part with in Lanayru trying to get up to the top of Zora's domain, like into like the Royal Chamber area, like the palace, like the throne room or whatever you want to call it. And I would stand over by that ice block blocking off the path leading to Snow Peak, and Minna would just do her laugh, her little laugh over and over again through the controller, and my sister was getting so pissed. She's like, would you figure out what the hell you're supposed to do already? Like, because she just kept hearing Minna like laugh. And eventually I realized like I was just not standing quite in the right spot, because it would only flash for like a second and then it wouldn't work. I'd like move up a little bit, and then she like prompted to like jump like back and forth to get up to there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But like I remember that area specifically because she's like trying to sleep, and she's just like, would you figure it out? Because of Minna's laugh. But I did also have another friend though that loved like Twilight Princess Link, like had a little crush on him, and I don't think like I ever really had an attraction to Link. I was always kind of just like, yo, Link is awesome, he's epic, like I am Link, I want to be Link. It was more of like a role model admiration than like a physical attraction. So it's just funny the different like aspect there, because like I thought about that as an adult. I was like, you know what, I never really like was into Link like that. The next game that I'm going to talk about now is Phantom Hourglass. So this was the first handheld Zelda game that I ever played. I definitely struggled with it a lot. It wasn't until I was like a teenager that I actually ended up beating the game. And I can't remember where exactly I would be stuck at. I do vaguely remember at one point I did get near the end, like on the ghost ship, and I couldn't figure something out with the levers or something like that. It's been a really long time since I've played Phantom Hourglass, so forgive me. But I would get stuck in that game a lot, and it wasn't until a little bit later. Like I said, gotta let that brain get a little bigger, and then you can figure it out a little bit better. But I wasn't like a big fan of the touch style controls. I mean, I got used to it. I'm still not like I don't want them to ever go back to that. I don't think they would. I don't see like a reason for them to do that. But the whole like returning to the ocean house and doing that same part over and over again, that was a brutal thing. That's probably like my major issue with Phantom Hourglass. But otherwise, like overall, I like the rest of the game. Like the boss fights were really fun. It was iterative of Wind Waker, you know, sailing around on the sea. You got like all these different ship parts. You fish up treasure, catch actual fish. If you know me, I love my fishing in my games. To an extent. I don't spend like hours doing it, but I'm always going towards some fishing holes in the fishing zones. They did fix the ocean temple thing in Spirt Tracks though, so that was a W for Spirt Tracks. But I think like story wise, Actually, I don't know which one I like more. I feel like I probably like them about the same. I just like that the Spirit Tracks in the tower, you didn't have to do the same thing over and over and over again. It let you go where you had left off. So I feel like Nintendo probably listened and was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that was probably a bad decision on our part to have that. But I have a fun fact about Phantom Hourglass. My sister was actually the one that got this DS. I have it now though. But my sister had the Zelda DS. It turns on, but it either doesn't play DS games properly or it won't play the Game Boy games. Something's not working right with that. So that's a little unfortunate. So it's mostly just like to look at. It's got the Triforce on there. And I wasn't super big into Zelda when she got this DS. So I wasn't too like jealous or anything. But once I started getting really, really into Zelda, then I was like, I should have that Zelda DS. But like I mentioned earlier, she doesn't really like fighting in games. Like she doesn't really like combat in games. She likes going on adventures and stuff. She just isn't really big on like the fighting. So she gave me the copy of Phantom Hourglass, which I still have to this day. I have all my Zelda games, honestly. I didn't get rid of any of them. Other than like, you know, the N64 thing, but that wasn't mine anyway, and that wasn't my decision either. But yeah, so that's pretty much my spiel on Phantom Hourglass. For Spirt Tracks, though, I brought it up, I said a few things about it in comparison to Phantom Hourglass, but I remember this being a Christmas gift for me. I believe it came back out in 2009, so I was 11 years old when this game came out. I remember like vividly, like at that time, when you're going to like the Anuki village and you go through like the snow area, there's this cave you have to pass through, and there's like a giant Goma-like creature with this giant eye like following you, and you have to shoot him with your cannon and make him back off. Like I remember that vividly as a kid. This was another one that I struggled with and didn't actually finish until I was a teenager again. For some reason, the top-down Zeldas just have a whole different level of difficulty, in my opinion, than the 3D ones do. So I ended up having to return to that. I enjoy both those games. Definitely like not my favorites of the series. I would love to see them come on like DS NSO, or maybe Nintendo gets a little ambitious and starts like Thunderstash Gaming mentioned on the Nintendo Light podcast. Maybe they start remaking the 2D games into 3D, which would be pretty sick. So like imagine like a triple pack or even like just a combo pack of like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks remade like Wind Waker style, because they're all Toon Link, so just put them in the Wind Waker engine. I know that I say that, but it's probably really, really hard to do that and would take a long time and might not even be worth it. But it would still be really cool to see that, or see them come over to the Switch or Switch 2 in some sort of fashion, because we're only missing a few Zelda games. We're missing my beloved Twilight Princess in terms of the 3D games, but that's it for Switch 2. Like we have Wind Waker. It might not be the version everybody wants, but we have the ability to play it. And the only other games then besides Twilight Princess are the 2DS games and the 2 3DS games. The 3DS games being A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. I could see all of these eventually like making their way over, and that could be a really big thing for Nintendo to be like, look, you can play all of the Zelda games on this console, which would be sick. It would be really cool though. Like now I'm just like thinking, like I'm literally just talking out of my ass now, but for like the 50th anniversary, if they did like release, it would have to be so expensive though, and at that point it would might hurt whatever console they're at then, because we might be at Switch 3 by then. It's 10 years from now. So yeah, if they made like a console with all the Zeldas on it, like that would be sick. Like play any Zelda anytime, anywhere. Like I love that. All right, back to my main task, which I pretty much don't have anything else left to say about Spirit Tracks. It's good. The next game I'm gonna bring up is Majora's Mask. So this one was a fun one. The first time I saw Majora's Mask, I was actually in like a YouTube rabbit hole. A lot of these are all around like the same age, like between like 9 and 13, because once I discovered Twilight Princess, I went back and played like a whole bunch of other ones. But then there were some games like Spirit Tracks that came out at launch that I ended up picking up. But I didn't know about Majora's Mask. So I was scrolling down through on YouTube, and I see Link as like a Goron and a Zora, and I'm like, there's no way this is a real game. This isn't a real game. Like this has to be fan made. And I'm like watching it, I'm like, no, sure as shit, this is a real game. And I'm like, I need this game, I have to play it. Being a Goron and a Zora, like, hell yeah, that sounds so much fun. I got it on the Wii Virtual Console, And I was stuck in that game forever. Oh my god. That game was so hard. And I remember I did eventually get all the way to like Snow Peak Ruins, or the Snow Peak Temple, and I could not for the life of me figure out what to do next. So I was stuck there for years. I revisited it, and eventually I got through that part, and I was just like, oh hell yeah. And I think all I really had to do honestly was like roll around at that one part. You had to like, you go as a Goron and like roll across the other side. And so I figured that out, and I was all hyped and pumped, and I get out of there, and then I get to Great Bay Temple and I'm just stuck again. And then I get to Stone Tower and then I'm just stuck again. That game was definitely a struggle, and the dungeons did progressively get harder as you went, as they should, but now it's not too bad as an adult. I can pretty much figure it out, but back then that was a struggle. And I had a neighbor that helped me get through Stone Tower, because that was a struggle. I remember bringing all my game, packing up my, oh no, I had it on Wii console, so maybe I played it on, like, played her version or something. I don't remember how we did that, but I do remember going over to her house and we were playing Majora's Mask. But yeah, that game is difficult. It's really cool with all the different side characters though, and all the side quests. Finding all the masks. I definitely did not find all the masks my first time through, and that fight with Majora was brutal as young Link. I think I actually had to dip out and like go back because I ran out of magic and I was just using light arrows to kill him. But I did play the game on the 3DS version then when that came out. And I did find all the masks that time around. And I had the Fierce DD Link mask then at the end, and that fight is a piece of cake if you have that. That fight is like a joke if you get the Fierce DD mask. So they definitely reward you for finding all the masks and collecting everything. A specific side quest though, the one with the aliens on Romani Ranch, that always gives me anxiety. It's only like 3 minutes, so like that's like another one like with the Palace of Twilight and the hand. Like I always like work myself up so much, but then I do it, it's really not that hard. I don't ride Epona around. I just throw my bunny hood on and just run back and forth all around and just get them. But that music is so creepy too. That game has a lot of creepy moments in it. It probably should be rated T for teen. Maybe in the remake they changed that, because in today's world that probably wouldn't be for everyone 10 and up. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about Majora's Mask. Really cool, really awesome concept. Transforming into the different races, that was super fun to do. And it would be really cool if we do get like more Zelda spin-offs, so we get like an RPG style Zelda game where you can pick a different race, like Skyrim but with Zelda coding on it. Like that would be pretty cool, not gonna lie. I would be down for that. I'm sure there's plenty of people that would like to do that. I don't know what race I would pick, honestly. I'd probably pick like a Zora. It would depend on their perks, because maybe the Sheikah would do really cool like stealth type stuff, but I feel like if I got cool swimming abilities, I might pick a Zora. The Deku Scrubs are really cool though too. Like I don't know what all races they would want to put in this game, this theoretical game that I'm thinking of. But yeah, the Deku Scrubs would be kind of cool too. It's just cool to like change like transform to all of them. Alright, the next game I'm gonna bring up is just a little sandwich one. Some of these games I'm gonna have more to say about than others. I'm gonna talk about Four Swords, the one on Game Boy. I was actually an early adopter of the 3DS, so I was able to get this for free, and I didn't really know that was a whole thing until I was an adult. There was like an ambassador program thing. But it was a cute little fun game to play. It was definitely weaker than the other titles. I think I struggled a little bit, but it's not a very long game. Like you can get through it in like 4 hours probably, like easy. Probably not even that long if you like really know what you're doing and you're good and don't like die or anything. But they do have this on NSO, and I did play with some of the mods off stream on our own time, and that was really fun. I'll talk about Four Swords Adventure later, but yeah, so that's all I really got to say about that version of Four Swords, or that, not even version. I mean, it's confusing. Four Swords Adventures, they're two different games. I haven't played Four Swords Adventures yet. So I'll just talk about that really quick now, since I'm already mentioning it. I haven't played Four Swords Adventures yet. I do have it on GameCube, but you have to have like all the links and everything with the Game Boys. I don't have all those Game Boys, so I'm really hoping that they drop that on GameCube NSO sometime, and that would be a really cool thing to do either on stream or off stream. That one probably I would do on stream because it's a little more, I think that one has more depth to it than Four Swords on the Game Boy does. I think Four Swords Adventures has more more of a story to it. I could be wrong because I haven't played it, so I don't really remember like what I've like heard about it. But the regular Four Swords was kind of just like a cute little multiplayer spin-off type thing, which is fine. It's fine. It's definitely not my favorite way to play Zelda, but yeah, hopefully Four Swords Adventures on GameCube NSO would love to do that with you guys. Alright, next game, Skyward Sword. All the 3D Zeldas, pretty much I'm gonna have more to say on them because they're more impactful to me, and I do still like the top-down ones. I just think I have a little bit more love for the 3D ones. I do still have this. Look how shiny it is. Beautiful. It came with that lovely golden Wiimote and the CD. I have that CD out in my car. I'm not gonna go get that, but I have the controller right here. There, beautiful. Favorite controller ever. So I also had like another thing for Skyward Sword, and I tried looking for it the other day when I did my first initial recording. I tried looking again this morning, and I still can't find it, and I'm really like annoyed about it, honestly, because I'm like, where the hell is this at? This is really cool. But I remember getting like I would get Game Informers back in the day, and there was one that had that concept art with Link and Fee. I will call her Fee. Fight me, it's fine. I also say Deku instead of Deku most of the time. As an adult, I flip-flop, but I've always called them Dekus, not Dekus. Anyway, moving on. It had the concept art of Link and Fee on there, and I was all hype because, you know, I was like, I was on like Twilight Princess hype train, like even after it came out for like years, just because I would replay it over and over again, and I just loved talking about it and drawing it and everything. Like drawing Link and Wolf Link, even though I wasn't very good at drawing Wolf Link, I still drew him all the time. But I was like super hyped for this. And I actually remember being in 7th grade, they changed the release date on GameStop's website. And as like, how old was I in 7th? 12? Yeah, as a 12-year-old Alyssa doesn't know any better, I blamed GameStop for changing the date, and we had to like write this letter in English class, a complaint letter. So I wrote GameStop a complaint letter, like for them changing the date for Skyward Sword. I'm like, I was so excited for this game. I honestly could still have that letter somewhere, perhaps. I don't really know. Probably not. I don't think I kept like a lot of my school stuff, but that was so funny though, like in hindsight, like writing GameStop a letter when knowing it wasn't even their fault. Now knowing that it wasn't even their fault, that Nintendo just put a date out there and it wasn't ready yet and they needed more time, which is fine in hindsight, but little me was like, because I played a few other games here and there, like Tomb Raider I was really into, and like Taken the Power Juju, and a few other like random one-off games, but like Zelda was like my main thing, so I was like, a new Zelda, a new 3D Zelda, please, like, give it to me. So I was a little like bummed that it didn't come out, but when it did finally come out, and we picked it up that day, we got home, and you know, like, the Wii's got that cool, like, little, when you click on the game, it's got the little music and, like, the startup and everything, and, my younger sister was saying something to my dad or whatever, but my dad, like, he wasn't mean about it, but he was just like, shh, like, your sister's been waiting a long time for this, like, he knew how hyped and excited I was. It's just so funny for him to, like, make her be quiet, like, on, not even, like, the main game title screen, like, on the Wii screen with me, like, clicking on it. Because I just sat there, I could literally feel, like, my face muscles, like, back then. I'm just, like, so happy and excited to play it. And I remember, like, my first rage moment being in the Silent Realm, like, that first one. I know it was at least twice. It might have been 3 times that I died. I think it was twice, though, but anyway. I only had 1 tear left, both tries. And I was so, like, mad and confused because I'm like, I had no idea where it was. And I was picking up the white tomatoes to, like, beam up where the tears were. And I just could not find it, and I was getting really frustrated. My dad made me, like, walk away from the game. Like, I wasn't getting violent or anything, but, like, I was, like, clearly frustrated. He's like, go upstairs, go, like, take a breath, like, walk away, like, take 10 minutes or something. And I really didn't want to. I wanted to keep playing, but he's like, nope, go take 10 minutes. So I did. I took my 10 minutes. And I came back, and it's literally, like, in the cutscene, it's the one, so, like, you're standing there, like, waiting to start the trial. You literally had to, like, run up, go up around, like, where the bird statue usually is for you to warp down to there, or land, whatever. And it was like right up there. So when I saw it on the cutscene, I'm like, oh my god. So that was like the second tier I got, because there's one literally right in front of you that you can grab. So I grabbed that one, I run up there and get that one, and I'm like, Jesus, like I was so frustrated. I probably died a few times in the other ones, like little did I know I was gonna have to do that again. And then especially like the Skyloft one did throw me through a loop. Like I was caught off guard on that one. I was like, oh no, I thought I was done with these. Like especially when you get caught in like the music, oh my god, so much anxiety. But yeah, those were good times, and I'm a fan of the motion controls. Like I liked it, even though sometimes it wouldn't quite register like a horizontal slash, or if you're trying to do a diagonal one, it's doing like a horizontal or a vertical. So like at times it was definitely annoying, but I still really liked it, and I really liked using like the nunchuck to like pull the bow back. Like that was always fun. I did try it on the Switch version, then the non-motion controls, like standard controls, if you will. And I wasn't a big fan because you couldn't move the camera around, so that was throwing me off. And like once you're used to being able to do that in certain games, you kind of like, you know, you get used to that being a thing. If I play some of the older games with the proper controllers though, it doesn't throw me off. Like I'm fine. Like I can play Ocarina of Time on the N64 and Majora's Mask, and it's no problem. Like it sucks that you can't free cam, but it's not like the end of the world for me. I just really love Skyward Sword though, and the whole like forming of the Master Sword is super cool to me. In the concept art you see Link with the Master Sword, so I was a little confused when you get the Goddess Sword, and I was like, oh, like this doesn't look like the Master Sword, it's called the Goddess Sword. Oh well, okay. And you get further in the game, you start doing all the flames, and it slowly starts to look like the Master Sword. Like the sword gets a little longer, and it's just like, okay. But then it turns like that purpley colored, you're like, okay. And then like eventually you get to the point and like it still doesn't quite look great. Like the wings are kind of like tucked in, and then you get to the point they like splay out like that. Oh, so epic, so epic. I think it took me like 11 days to beat that game, and I was so sad when it was over. Like I felt empty inside. As sad as that sounds. So I played it in hero mode like the next day then though, because I was like, I can't stop playing this game. I need more. So I had to go back to do that. Oh, I guess a little fun fact about Skyward Sword, if you didn't already know. It's not my favorite Zelda game. I mentioned before that Twilight Princess is my favorite game. But I got the name Skyward Zelda because when this game came out, I was 13 years old. And social media and like gamer tags were a thing. I did have an Xbox 360 at one point. So it kind of just became like my online handle was Skyward Zelda. That's what I just used for everything. And then I kind of just like kept it for YouTube. I couldn't really come up with any other names at the time. I've thought of a few, but I don't really know that I want to rebrand right now anyway. But Skyward Alyssa kind of just stuck, but a lot of people think that either my name is Sky and they miss the Alyssa part, or they notice Sky Swords and think Skyward Sword and then they assume that that's my favorite Zelda game, but it's actually not. Twilight Princess is my favorite. But the next game, let's talk about Wind Waker. So this game, one of my cousins actually played this game when she was younger, and she doesn't really have time to play games, but she knows a little bit about the lore and like pays attention, and her and I'll talk about Zelda. Like when Skyward Sword came out, I had her come over and she was like trying to do the Loftwing and she was like struggling. She's probably like 10 years older than me, so she's probably like early to mid 20s when she came over. But she was the cool cousin. She would take me and we would do things all the time. Like she took me to see the Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses. She took me to a bunch of concerts. Yeah, she just was a very supportive cousin. Was like awesome. We always talk about Zelda, and like with the movie coming out next year and everything, like we're probably gonna go together. I'm taking everybody to go see the movie, but tangenting off my cousin. I didn't watch her play it, but I do remember vaguely like being younger and being at her house and trying to like boot up a save file, and I'm pretty sure she was in the Forbidden Woods. It's the area where Makar flies over and then gets stuck and you gotta go save him. Like right in the beginning, it's like the second, it's either the first or second dungeon that you do in Wind Waker. But I remember being like, I don't know what's going on. But I didn't play this game until a little bit later, and she actually gifted me all her GameCube games, her and her brother, my other cousin. So I have her copy of Wind Waker, which is really cool. And I would be stuck in the Forsaken Fortress for so long. That was like another thing. Like I got stuck in the beginning of these games so much. It was so sad because I'm like, I really want to play these, but I just can't figure it out. And then eventually I did. I got out of there, and I don't think I struggled too much until the like Twilight
or not Twilight, oh my god, Triforce piece quests, when you had to pick up all the pieces. I think then I started to struggle a bit. There were probably a few moments that I got stuck, like in the dungeons and everything, but I can't really remember anything too specific other than those Triforce shards being a pain in the booty. I did play Wind Waker HD then. That was really cool. Swift Sail, best like addition that they could have added into there. I don't know if I like prefer the OG graphics versus like the ultra bloomed HD. I think mostly just like the Swift Sail is like just the big thing, is just having that. But I know they took out the Tingle Tuner quest and I never got to experience that, so I am a little bummed. But I could always like watch some lore and stuff on that, because I don't really know much about Tingle. I do still prefer like the traditional like land-based games, or like if it's on an island or there's water areas to it. It was fine for like a I guess technically 2 off because of Phantom Hourglass. Traveling throughout the sea and going to island to island. It is really cool to discover environments that way, but I do prefer like the traditional like on land type thing. I am a big fan of Toon Link though. I love Toon Link. I love how quirky, silly, and expressive he is. I wish that he would come back, honestly. Because I'll mention a little bit later too, but I'm not a fan of this new 2D art style. For Echoes of Wisdom, I didn't mind it as much, but I didn't really like it in Link's Awakening. So I would like to see Toon Link come back. That would be pretty awesome. I don't think he will, but I would love to see him return. Just Wind Waker, good game. Good game. Alright. Next game we're just going to talk about is A Link Between Worlds. So I can't remember when this was announced, how it was announced, and all that. I didn't really follow news cycles that much at this point. Like with Skyward Sword I did a little bit. And like I said, I was getting the Game Informers. But that was pretty much like the extent. Like I wasn't online a whole lot, like speculating or anything like that. But I really like A Link Between Worlds. I thought that the concept of, you know, becoming a painting and going in the wall was really cool, and, you know, you'd see a crack in the wall and you'd have to, like, go through it, then you'd be on the other side. I can't remember too much else about the game other than the map is similar or is exactly the same as A Link to the Past, so it's kind of like a sequel to it, in a way. I'd love to revisit this game. I hope that they port it over to Switch or Switch 2. Or if they port it to Switch, give us, like, better enhancements for Switch 2 version. I think a lot of people would love to see that game come back. I know a lot of fans do adore that game. I think I only played through that game like twice. A lot of these other ones I played through like multiple times, but a lot of the top-down ones I only played through like a couple times just because they're so much more difficult, and I just don't really, I'm not like as passionate towards them as some of the 3D ones. At least as a kid I wasn't, and I just don't really have as much time. Like I use streaming as a way to replay some games, but other than that, unless I'm really in the mood to play it, I'm probably not gonna play it again. But I would love for A Link Between Worlds to come on Modern Hardware so that I could stream it with you guys and we could all enjoy it together again. And with that, we're gonna flip over to Triforce Heroes. Fuck that game. Honestly though, if Triforce Heroes comes to Switch/Switch 2, I actually wouldn't. Like, I would probably buy it again and stream it with my 2 friends. I can't promise anything because we don't have an announcement for it yet, so I can't promise that I will stream it. But if it does come, it is something I'm thinking about and considering. I only played it, like, by myself back then, so I had, like, the stone statues and I had to flip-flop and go around. I didn't play online with anybody. So it was just, like, the overall gameplay experience wasn't that great. The actual areas themselves, I don't remember having a problem with, like, doing the puzzles and dungeons and stuff, like, those were cool. It was just, like, the whole idea of me doing it with 3 different links and, like, having to, like, it was a mess. It wasn't very fun. And I wasn't a fan of the outfits, which is really funny because in Breath of the Wild, the outfits don't bother me. So, like, I don't know what it was about, like, maybe it was just, like, it was very fashionista, and, like, in Breath of the Wild, it's more, like, function over fashion, and while I believe the outfits in Triforce Heroes did still have a function to them, it wasn't as, like, great as how they are in Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. It's just funny, like, retrospectively, like, thinking about that, I'm like, you know what, the outfits, like, I didn't like having all them outfits in Triforce Heroes, but I didn't mind them in Breath of the Wild. It would be nice, though, if we could have in like the next one, there's a word for it and I always forget the word for it, but it's where you can have like a certain armor equipped for the stats, but then you can have like a cosmetic armor as like the overlay. So like, for example, the game I can think of mostly is Phoenix Immortals Rising. You could do it with your weapons too, I believe. You would pick whatever weapons you wanted, but then you would use like the actual like model of a different one. So like, let's say like I had like this green sword that did like plus 20 attack speed or something, but I really liked the way that this purple sword looked. So then I would like equip the green sword, but then put the purple skin over it. So I mean, that would be kind of cool for the next game. I'm tangenting a little bit. I'm probably gonna do that. I don't do these kind of videos. I apologize. I just wanted to celebrate Zelda's 40th some way, and I figured I would just, you know, ramble on about the games and some of my experiences. And if you guys end up liking this, you know, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do some more of these type videos. Maybe I'll just pick a specific game. The video won't be nearly this long because it will only be one game. But I could try to, like, think and, like, remember some more specific things from that time in my life and the game, and some more, like, deeper dive. Like, I'm kind of just scratching the surface of, like, my main memories or things that I remember about the game. But yeah, you guys let me know if you're enjoying this. That would be great. Next, we're gonna talk about A Link to the Past. So I actually played this game for the first time on stream. I was playing it alongside Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is the game that I started my streaming career, if you will. That's the game I started with, was Tears of the Kingdom. But I wanted something else to play alongside it because Tears of the Kingdom is such a large game, and I wasn't necessarily bored, but I wanted to do something else as well. And I wanted to try like the vertical lives. So I did all of the Link to the Past on the vertical live streams, and that was really fun to do. And I actually have like this funny clip that I'm gonna put in here. When you go to the Dark World for the first time. Oh, there, now it worked. Whoa. What is this? Is this the Dark World? Is Link a bunny in the Dark World? What? What? Oops. What is happening? Yeah, so I was not expecting Link to be a bunny. I kind of look almost disgusted in the clip, but I'm more so just like confused. And like, what? Like, this is wild. And obviously you don't stay a bunny, but that was definitely a moment worth capturing. I really enjoyed that game though, even though like I didn't play it in the past and I don't really have like a reason for nostalgia, but I do have nostalgia for it because it's literally like the backbone of all of the Zelda games after it, up until the Wild Era games, with like the dungeons and a lot of the songs, like Zelda's Lullaby, Fairy Fountain. I feel like there was at least one other song, but I can't think of it. And like Link's noises, like his yahas and stuff, if you will, are like identical to Ocarina of Time. So me having such nostalgia for Ocarina of Time and this game being what led to it and a lot of inspiration towards it, I still feel like connected to it in a way, if that makes sense. But great game, enjoyed the crap out of it. With that, we're gonna move on to Breath of the Wild. So this is where like the news hype really started to hit for me. I was paying attention, I was watching YouTube videos, interviews and all that. I remember that initial trailer that we got with like Link being chased by the Guardian and thinking like, that's Link, that's Link. I'm like, where's his hat? Where's his green tunic? And you know, I wasn't a big fan of the new design for a while. Like, not necessarily the art style, like I love the art style, but I was kind of just like, I missed my boy in green. I hope he comes back in the next game. But it makes sense knowing like the environments with how lush and green they are, that he would have kind of like blended in and got muddled in there. So that makes sense why they would want to kind of change the color palette for that. But I remember just being like, whoa, and like just super hyped. And I think that trailer said like 2015. We didn't get the game till 2017. I actually got it on Wii U. I found my copy here. I wanted to show you guys because look, I got it on launch, so I have like the OG one where it says you can play with the Wiimote and nunchuck, and you can't do that. You can't actually play that on there. Oh, I did forget to show off for Wind Waker, so I'm just gonna show it now because I got when Wind Waker HD was a thing. I didn't even know that the Wii U was a thing. My aunt was just like, "What do you want for your birthday?" So me being the gamer nerd that I am, I'm like, let me go look online on GameStop's website. I found this bad boy and I was like, what? So I'm like, will you help me pay for this? So she said yeah, so then we went and we picked that up at GameStop. Got the gamepad right here too. You can see my little mushroom and it's dirty. I know I need to clean it. I apologize. But yeah, sorry. Back to Breath of the Wild. I got a little sidetracked because I remembered that. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't show that. Yeah, I didn't want to switch at launch because I already had the Wii U. I'm like, the only thing I want to play is Breath of the Wild, so I'm gonna wait. Originally, I actually wanted to wait until they came out with a Zelda-themed Switch, and I'm glad I didn't wait because we didn't get one until 2023. I got my Switch in 2018. I got it for Christmas the following year, the year after it came out. Because I wanted to play like Let's Go Eevee, and then there were a few other games. I told myself I wasn't gonna buy Breath of the Wild on the Switch. I bought Breath of the Wild for the Switch. I played through Breath of the Wild a total of 5 times. Regular mode on both versions once, and then Master mode on both versions twice, and then on Switch 2 I played Master mode on stream with you guys. So total of 5 times through Breath of the Wild. Nutty, I know. And I remember playing through it being like, this game is massive, I'm never gonna replay this game, and then I ended up replaying it because of Master mode, and I was like, oh shit. And you know, both versions though, like regular mode and Master mode, I was getting my ass kicked in the beginning for a little while. Obviously in Master mode it took a little bit longer, and like with the enemies regenerating health, you can't just like whack them a little bit and then like run away and hide and then come back. Like no, you gotta commit to the bit in Master mode. You can't be doing that. But once you get like the stronger weapons, it gets a lot easier to like get through it. It's like this is not much of a struggle anymore. But I was so hyped for Breath of the Wild, and I would show this other trailer off, like one of the ones closer to launch. I had my dad watch it like multiple times. I was showing people at work. I was watching it multiple times. I wasn't a content creator at this point, so I wasn't really like talking about Zelda or anything like that online with other people. Just like a little bit here or there with like people that I'm friends with in real life. Like I spent a lot of time on Instagram as like a teenager and young adult, so maybe like some posts on there about Zelda, but I never like sat down and like talked to other people like about it. The trailer did kind of have more hype though than the game actually, like the story wise, than the game itself. Like I remember being super bummed. I'm like, well, all my friends are dead, that's cool, and like nobody knows me and I barely even know myself. Like, great. Great. So that was like a little bit of a bummer, and like I had mentioned briefly earlier, all of the divine beasts being very samey and not super thematic. That was also a little bit of a bummer. But traveling the worlds and doing all the shrines, that was really cool. Like all the different environments and everything. And they definitely did better in Tears of the Kingdom, and I'll talk about Tears of the Kingdom more later. But with the final fight with Calamity Ganon, I remember being so bummed out when I got there too. Like, oh, ew, what is this thing? This thing is the final boss, and while the boar is really cool, it's super easy and it's like, whatever. So, but with the addition of Tears of the Kingdom, I forgive it. Because I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? It makes sense with the addition of Tears of the Kingdom. There was a bigger bad. This was just like what was coming from the bigger bad. So like, if we never got Tears of the Kingdom, I'd still be a little miffed about Calamity Ganon, but since we do, it makes sense in my head, and I can accept it and let it slide. But when the game launched though, I was not like in that great of a place in my life. I was dating someone that wasn't necessarily like physically abusive, but definitely like mentally and like emotionally, and it just wasn't like a very good relationship. And this game came out, and I just remember I lived an hour away from my work at this point too, so I had a pretty long drive to go there. But I worked second shift, so I worked 2 to 10. I would either play when I got home from work or before work, depending on if I slept in really late and didn't have time. or both if I did have time. I just remember coming home really late and just playing for a few hours and just getting lost in the world, or right before work. Like, I specifically remember the one tower, I think it might be like the Woodlands Tower or like by Farron, where all the electric Lazulfos and all the electric Wizrobes are all there. And I just remember being like, oh shit, there's a bunch of water. So, you know, like the electricity will travel through the water, and I was just like, oh shit, like, how am I gonna get through here? I think I did one attempt, but then I had to go to work. But that's just something like specifically that sticks out that I remember happening. And the order I went in was I went to Zora's Domain first. So I did Varuda, Rudania, Meadow, and then Saloma Thurbosa, Naboris, Va Nuboris, and then I did Va Nuboris. I definitely like hopped around to other regions, like in like the Farron Woods and like down lower, like the tropical area, and like Laurelin Village, and in like parts of Neclita, like the Thunder Plateau and all that. Like I remember hopping through there, but in terms of like the Divine Beasts, I remember going like Zora's Domain, the Gorons, the Rito, and then the Gerudo, in that order. I think a lot of people did that order because it kind of like steers you that way, because you know you go to the Dueling Peaks and then it's like, oh, now go to Kakariko Village, and then Zora's Domain's like right there. And everybody loves that iconic scene with Sidon. I'm not a Sidon simp, but it's just so funny. Yeah, that game was crazy for sure. Yeah, I was 19 when this game came out. I think I'm good on Breath of the Wild. I probably do have more things I could say, but like I said, if you guys are liking this, maybe I'll do some deeper discussions on specific games. So now we're gonna move on to Link's Awakening. I never played the OG. I played the remake when it came out in 2019. I briefly mentioned that I hate this art style. Like, but it's still not gonna stop me from playing Zelda. Like, the art style's not gonna deter me. I don't like to complain about it. It's just something that, like, I'm trying to think of things to talk about, and that's just something that I have to say about it, is that I'm just not a big fan of it. I think it's their eyes, honestly. They're just giant black pupils, and there's no emotion in there. I know he smiles and stuff, but it just feels like lifeless. I just feel like they did my boy Link dirty, because for some reason for Echoes of Wisdom I don't mind it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know, it just seems more like charming in Echoes of Wisdom versus Link's Awakening, and I don't know why. I still enjoy Link's Awakening though. Link's Awakening is a great game. I think when I streamed it, it only took me like 7 or 8 hours to get through it. It really didn't take me that long. It was definitely challenging, like most of the top Zeldas are, like I had mentioned before. Overall, I really liked it. I highly recommend this to anybody who likes Zelda and hasn't played this one. It's an easy one to hop into. Don't really need to know much about any of the other games. You honestly don't need to know anything about any of the games to jump in. You can literally play whatever game. You can start wherever you want. The only thing would be like with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There's just some like small references or whatever in Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild that would just kind of maybe make it the experience a little bit better. But I wouldn't say you have to play one, like you can't play one without playing the other. Like you could skip one of them, honestly. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on Link's Awakening. I don't have too many memories with Link's Awakening. It's mostly like the ones from my childhood that I have more memories of. The ones as an adult are not that much. But I played Minish Cap. I played it on NSO. I believe I played it on my own first and then streamed it. I don't think I streamed it for the first time, but I did stream it. Like my first time playing it wasn't a stream. That was my second time. It's probably one of my favorites of the top-downs. I don't know if it is my favorite, but it's definitely one of them. I know a lot of people really like this one. I don't think I ever found all the kinstones, but it was really cool to like collect them and trade them. And it wasn't just one standard kinstone. You had different shaped kinstones. So if somebody had one, you didn't have the right half for it, you couldn't just like give them whatever. You had to try to find that exact half. So that was like a cool little side quest thing to do. I appreciate that in the games. Like they're fun to do, but I don't always find them all. I kind of just enjoy the game to the extent that I want to enjoy it. If I find myself not having fun trying to look for all of these things, or I don't find the reward worth it, like the Korok seeds, I really was going to try to find them all on stream with Breath of the Wild, but I just couldn't do it anymore because I just wasn't having fun. I'm like, this isn't fun to me anymore, and I know that I'm not going to get anything great out of it in the end. I upgraded my inventory all the way, and that's all I care about. Next games we'll bring up are Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. these two are probably my my favorite top-down Zelda games, if not pretty close to my favorite. I played Seasons first, and then I played Ages. I did enjoy the dungeons in Ages more, but I like the season changing mechanic in Seasons better than the time mechanic in Oracle of Ages. I specifically remember in Ages getting to Lord Jabu Jabu dungeon, and I was in there for like at least 2 hours. It had to have been at least 2 hours. It was a long time. It was way longer than I needed to be in there. But I was struggling trying to get through there, and I was playing it up in the cabin that my boyfriend's family has up in New York. I was playing it there, and his older brother was like, Alyssa, would you please get out of this dungeon already? I'm tired of looking at the walls like pulsating or like moving, something like that. Whatever he said, it was just hilarious. It was basically like he was tired of seeing me in this dungeon. And like, clearly I didn't want to be in that dungeon anymore either. I was getting really frustrated. I'm like, bro, I'm stuck. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm like, I'm ready to move on too, man. It's definitely challenging, but I appreciate that because it just feels so much more rewarding when you overcome that challenge rather than being handheld or it being like super easy. The challenge is appreciated. It is definitely appreciated. I like the island in Seasons though, with like the Tokay, I think that's what they were called, the like gecko dudes. They steal all your stuff, you gotta get it all back, you gotta trade it and do all that. You know, it was the OG Eventide Island, if you will. That was really cool. I highly recommend playing Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I've mentioned before, like, I'm in the mindset, like, those, out of all of the top-down Zelda games, need a remake the most. Like, all of the other ones, I feel like still hold up pretty well, like, even A Link to the Past and Minish Cap, and I know those ones are more beloved than the Oracle games. But I just, like, looking at the Oracle games, like, the art style and everything, I'm like, this needs a revamp. It needs more color, it needs more pop, and having, like, more modern controls would also be really nice, because sometimes you get the buttons mixed up. I don't think that that's too hard to play with a regular controller as opposed to playing, like, the N64 games with a standard Pro controller. Like, that, it's definitely much more of a struggle for those games. But I'd love to see them remade. It would be epic and it would make me really happy, and maybe we get the third game, or maybe they just add more content to it like how they added a dungeon maker in Link's Awakening. To the big boy. We're on the big boy now, you guys. Tears of the Kingdom. This game, dude, 2019 when this game was revealed, I lost my shit. I was so hype and excited. It looked really spooky. I knew from the moment we saw that torch, I'm like, this is Zelda. I'm like, this is a Zelda game. And you know, most of us thought like, oh, 2019, sequel to Breath of the Wild, we shouldn't be waiting that much longer. Like, we should be getting this like next year because, you know, it's the same area and everything. Well, we didn't get it till 2023, 4 years after they show us, but it's fine. It's fine. Considering the technology that they put in that game with Fuse and Ultra Hand and everything, you know, it made sense that it needed its time to cook. Like, that is mind-boggling to many developers that they were able to pull that off and not break the game. But once this was revealed, I was watching all of like the big name YouTubers, and back then I don't think they were that big yet. Like they grew over time with the hype of Tears of the Kingdom, but I was watching creators like Hyrule Gamer, Zeltic, Nintendo Black Crisis, Monster Maze, and at the time I think he was calling himself Masked Nintendo Bandit. I think he's just Bandit or Bandit Games now. I can't remember, I apologize. But like all of those content creators, and I might be forgetting a few too, but I was hella into listening to them. I'd come home from work, because like I said, I worked second shift. I'd come home at like 10 o'clock. At this point, I was living back with my parents. Me and that other person I was with ended our relationship. But, and I was with, I was with Harry at this point. Sorry, I had to like think about it. I'm like, wait, were we together? Yes, Harry and I were together at this point. So he was somebody I would talk to about it a lot with, and his nephew, we both have very complicated families, but his nephew's the same age as me, and they were pretty much like my main people that I would talk to. Like I said, occasionally post something online, like on Instagram or whatever, to whoever wanted to see it. But I was kind of just enjoying the hype on my own, just consuming this content after work, you know, getting the terps, chilling in bed, watching some Zelda lore, and like all the jokes with the Zonai and everything, and like has Zonai swirl, and then we actually get Zonai information. Like that was really cool. And I remember like the first reveal of like Raru on the glyphs without actually seeing what he looks like, thinking like, oh, that thing looks really cool. I'm like, oh, but what if it looks really scary? I'm like trying to envision like, what does this thing look like? You know, I'm like, I couldn't like quite picture it, but now it makes sense like after seeing like Raru's actual model and everything. I'm like, oh, okay. But trying to like take that hieroglyph and make it into something like three-dimensional and as a character, I was like, what is this thing gonna look like? But I love Tears of the Kingdom. It's my second favorite Zelda game. It was my favorite due to like recency bias. Like it did overthrow Twilight Princess for a while, but then the more I like sat and reflected on it, I'm like, no, you know what, like Twilight Princess is still my favorite because of all of the nostalgia and everything I have for it, and you know, being the wolf. But even in Tears of the Kingdom, like I like it so much more than Breath of the Wild because it adds more things to it that reference like other games. Like I kid you not, when I got down to the depths, I wanted to know what those glowing spirit things were in like the one trailer. I'm like, what are those things? What are those things? I picked them up and it was a they called them pose. I started crying. I think I cried when I picked up a bomb flower too. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm like, they're pose. And as like little as they are and they're just basically a currency, I was still like just super happy and excited to see like a reference to past games coming over. And they definitely did the dungeons way better, you know, thematic. Bosses look different. Really, really fun boss fights too, like extremely fun. I think most of us really like the Lightning Temple because that felt more like a traditional Zelda dungeon in a modern way. And Nintendo listens. They listen. So I have full faith in them that the next game, the dungeons are going to be even better than in Tears of the Kingdom, and they're going to get closer and closer to what they used to be, while still having this like open world format where you can go to do whatever one you want. I do kind of want them to bring items back some way, but I don't really know like how they're going to do that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is just about my memories with the games that are already out. I keep tangenting a little bit. But then I did mention though, like, that this game was the game that I started streaming with. It gave me the push a little bit, if you will. I really wanted to do another playthrough of this game because I said the same thing with this one that I said with Breath of the Wild. I'm like, this game is, because this one is even more massive than Breath of the Wild. I was like, I'm not gonna replay this game. There's just too much. I'm playing through this once and that's it. And then we never got like a master mode or anything, and I was really bummed about it. So I was like, oh, well, I'm like, I could do a 4-heart run because you need the 4 hearts to get through, and I know I could have dropped the 1, but I just left the 4. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do that like as a stream, and you can see like throughout that stream how like progressively better my setup had become. Like I was acquiring like new things because back then the quality was not that great, and I don't even know that my quality is still as good as I want it to be. I mean, I feel like there's always room for improvement, but yeah, I was like, you know what, 4-heart run, let's go. And just like in Breath of the Wild on like master mode, it's hard at first, but once you start, you know, getting further into the game, getting better weapons and all of that jazz, it does get easier. And I did cheese the Phantom Ganon fight at Hyrule Castle before you go to find the 5th stage. I just like used rubies and a Lionel bow, and he was done in like one shot. And to this day, it still keeps me up at night sometimes. No, not really, but it is something that I will think. It doesn't keep me up, but I will. It is one of the things I think about, like, before going to bed. Like, oh man, maybe I really shouldn't have cheesed that fight. I'm like, maybe I should have tried a little harder, but I was scared with only having 4 hearts. This is definitely, like, my favorite design for Princess Zelda, though, with, like, the ancient Hyrule armor. I love that design, if you guys probably can tell, considering I cosplayed it. Yeah. Tears of the Kingdom is great. I was cracked out on the memories, oh my god, when I found the first one, and my dumbass didn't know to like follow them in order or that there was an order. I was just like, where's the nearest one? And I would just go. Like, I did obviously get distracted because there's so many things to do and like a bunch of, you know, they added the caves, oh my god, I love that they added the caves are so cool. But, I was just like, I gotta know what happens. I'm like, what's going on with my girl Zelda? I'm like, I had to know. I kind of already had like a feeling I kind of had a feeling. And I cry during that certain scene, like, almost every time. Like, I'll rewatch the cutscenes sometimes when I babysit, but because she likes to watch the Zelda stuff. I'm like, good, get them while they're young, get them into the Zelda. Yeah, since I cried so much, there's like a running joke that it's actually called Tears of the Alyssa, because I just cry so much during like my initial playthrough. And even like not playing it, I'll still like cry talking about it or thinking about it sometimes, or seeing certain scenes like I mentioned. But it does leave me exciting, like what kind of like other lore bombs or anything that they'll drop in like the next game. Like, how are they gonna make me cry in the next one? Probably just when I like boot up the game, I'll start crying. I didn't even mention that, like the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, the way that it starts, how you're underground with Zelda and you're like all powerful and all that. Dude, that was so cool, and I was not really like expecting that. I don't know why, but I don't know, man. Like, just, I know the Tears of the Kingdom has some issues and there is like a good amount of copy paste, but I definitely do love Tears of the Kingdom. I like it more than Breath of the Wild. It doesn't have the wow factor Breath of the Wild did with being the very first open air, open world Zelda game. Go anywhere, do anything you want, go fight Ganon right away if you want to. But they just added so much more like Zelda-ness to it, and like lore and references, that it just makes me like that game more. I also like the abilities a lot more. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got on Tears of the Kingdom. I probably could keep talking about Tears of the Kingdom, but for the sake of time, we're gonna move on. I think I'm already doing a little bit better than my initial one, so that's good. But hopefully I didn't leave too many things out. Echoes of Wisdom. So my initial reaction to when this game was revealed was a bit ruined due to like latency issues and just technology and stuff. I don't really want to get into it because I don't like thinking about it. Another thing that keeps me up at night. But overall, I was like super excited to and somewhat surprised to see the game. At this point I had already been following rumors because ever since like Tears of the Kingdom 2019 dropped, I've been like all in. Like, even with like Breath of the Wild, like I was starting to, but like Tears of the Kingdom, all in on the rumors and everything, and like what's coming, all that jazz. So I already knew about like the potential rumor for Princess Zelda being the leading role in a game, in a new Zelda game, and I didn't think that was far-fetched. Now, you know, obviously you take rumors with a grain of salt and you choose to believe what you want. And that one was one that I've had faith in, or like belief in. I wasn't gonna be bummed if it didn't happen, but it was something that I'm like, yeah, you know, that makes sense. So I wasn't surprised to see that like Zelda was the thing, but it was kind of just like more like maybe like shock, like, oh, so the rumor was true, like, okay, cool, like confirmation surprise, I guess you could call it. I don't know. But it was super cool to see a brand new one, since the last like traditional top-down one that came out before that wasn't a remake was A Link Between Worlds, which I think that came out in like 2014 or something like that. So like, and then, you know, we got Triforce Heroes, which is the multiplayer Zelda that's not really traditional Zelda. So it had been like a really long time since we got like a fresh experience. And while Link's Awakening was a fresh experience for me because I didn't play the original, it wasn't like a whole new story or anything, you know what I mean? And even then it was like, that was 2019 and Echoes of Wisdom came out in 2024, so that was still a 5-year gap in between top-down games, which is crazy. But I mean, it still technically isn't really traditional since you're not playing as Link. So I guess retcon everything I just said, no, but it still has, like, aside from it being Zelda's role and the fighting mechanic being different, everything else about it is very Zelda-like. Like, there's so much lore from A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time in this game, references, characters, the quirkiness, the dungeons and the puzzles in Echoes of Wisdom are so good. The ice dungeon's my favorite one. I love that mechanic with the fans, either like being heating fans or cooling fans, freezing and melting the water and changing the different environment and rooms in the dungeons. Like, that is my favorite. And also, it's got Conde. Conde's up there. I love Conde. If you don't love Conde, I don't know what to tell you, but Conde the goat. Love him. I definitely do prefer like the swordsman style with Link, like, you know, a sword and a shield, but it was really cool to like have this summoners type style game to try out. It was definitely fun for like a one-off, and even if they do continue this, I just hope that we still get traditional like Link top-down games as well, but I wouldn't mind getting another game like this. Like, I really enjoyed Echoes of Wisdom, and all the lore and everything in it. I definitely can recommend this to, like, any Zelda fan, just because of all the lore. Like, you know, if you're not sure you'll like the whole summoning aspect, just give it a try. I promise you it's more fun than it might seem. And you know, it's so versatile with all the different combinations you can make and everything too. But if you don't play Zelda and you're watching this, awesome. Thanks for watching and making it this far if you don't play Zelda and you're tuning in. But if you are somebody that does like that summoning type style where you don't really like being like face to face with enemies, you kind of like hanging back and like letting your peoples do their thing, I highly recommend this game for you as well. Maybe you could get into Zelda by playing this. I don't, beats me. But I appreciate Nintendo trying new things and trying to get other people into the series, because this series is amazing and I do absolutely adore this series. The dungeons, like I said, the dungeons were phenomenal. I also love like the Faron Woods with the Deku scrubs. When I get there and they call me a country bumpkin, I just start laughing. I'm like, that's hilarious. I was not expecting them to call me that. They're so sassy and like all about like they're trendy. They're sassy and trendy, and I love that. I like seeing a different perspective for them, because the only like other perspective that I can personally think of is they're either enemies like in Ocarina of Time where they sell you stuff, or in Majora's Mask you get to the Deku Palace and they're all just trying to kill this monkey and they just look like, I don't even know, like they don't seem sassy, they don't seem like they have much personality, they just seem angry. They're just angry and mad. Like, where's our princess, monkey? Why you take our princess? So in Echoes of Wisdom, them having like this whole other like, you know, trendy, sassy type demeanor, like them being like, you can't come in here and get any of our special cotton candy. I forget exactly what they call it, but they like sweets and everything. Like, they just have more lore and like attitude towards them in comparison to previous games. So I think that that's really cool that they have that as like a thing going for it. And I'm excited to see whatever they do with the next top-down game as well. I really hope we get the Oracle games next, though, honestly, and then something new after that. Or vice versa, I guess. I would deal with that too. Like, new is always really cool, but having the old get the attention they deserve in today's age and allowing players easy access to them, I think that that's awesome. And I know you can play, like I mentioned before, almost every Zelda game on NSO or natively on Switch 2, but there are still like some of the older ones like the Oracle games that I think could really use that remake treatment. It would be really, really nice to see. So now I'm gonna hop over to some of the spin-offs. I haven't played all of the spin-offs. I really honestly only have like 4 here that are sticking out to me and that I can like think of. But the first one, Link's Crossbow Training. I actually really enjoyed Link's Crossbow Training when it came out with like the Wii Zapper and everything. But learning later in life as an adult that was supposed to be a sequel to Twilight Princess 2 and that's what we got instead, that leaves a sour taste in my mouth because I would have loved to have the Twilight Princess 2. And this is ultimate hopium copium, but who's to say that we don't get the sequel now? Like, in today's age. Maybe they were limited back then. They have better hardware now. More things that they can do. Open world, open air, open whatever. Like, it would be really, really cool to have them revisit that in like a modern way, and with the rumor of the different dimensions and realities, maybe it's the Twilight Realm. No, I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm hoping to speak it into existence, but I would love to see Twilight Princess get a sequel. But Link's Crossbow Training, aside from that, I liked it for what it was. I liked it for what it was. Hyrule Warriors, the OG Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. Dude, that game is like the ultimate fan service to Zelda fans. I love how it brought characters from all of the games into it. And even like some new characters, like they were like Lana and Sia. Like, that was fine and it was cool, and I do actually really like Lana and I like to play as Lana. It's just such a major fan service with all the lore and different characters coming all together. And then it was packed with so much content because you had those extra maps too that you would navigate through, and there was one for each game. That used to be like my favorite design for Princess Zelda and Link back when that first came out. But it is still my favorite design for Impa. I was like trying to think about all the other characters, I'm like, but Impa's design in that game I still like. And I think that style holds up well. Like that art style, but up until Tears of the Kingdom. Like those were my favorite iterations of Princess Zelda and Link. It's just for the fans, man, for the fans. Age of Calamity. So while this one was still fun, I'm a bit bitter towards Age of Calamity. It's what I wanted Breath of the Wild to be. Nobody dies. All my friends are here. This is great. So it kind of just retcons Breath of the Wild, or is just in parallel with Breath of the Wild. It's like, okay, here's Breath of the Wild, here's Age of Calamity. It's not really like a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It just totally changes the timeline from there on. And I don't think they mention it being canon, or not nearly as canon as they mention Age of Imprisonment being. Which, I did enjoy Age of Imprisonment more than Age of Calamity. I don't think either of them are gonna like hold the same like craziness and awesomeness as the original game did, because of all of the different references and literally merging like all of the games at that point into it. In terms of like the characters and the weapons and all that, like obviously it doesn't play like a Zelda game, it's a Warriors game. But Age of Imprisonment was definitely better than Age of Calamity. I loved seeing like Zelda being in Hyrule and leading up to Ganondorf's plan and his reign of terror. Like I said with Tears of the Kingdom, I was cracked out on the memories. So of course I was like really excited for this game. And I know many people were speculating like maybe we get that. Since we got Age of Calamity, maybe we get like an Imprisoning War type game. Sure, shit, we did. But I remember crying during that reveal trailer, and I remember saying like, I know this is a Warriors game, but holy shit, because I'm like, this is my girl Zelda doing what she was doing while my boy Link was up in the sky taking a little nappy, after he tried to catch me and he couldn't. But I do really enjoy Age of Imprisonment. I wish we got like a little bit more though. Like we didn't really hear anything about Kotake and Koami. Like I just want, and like the other three dragons, like Dinral, Nadra, and Farish. Like I would have liked a little bit more lore in that regard. But I think overall they did a pretty good job just telling the story, like what happened and what the Imprisoning War was. I think they did a good job with that. And I don't think it's too late for us to see some DLC. I think maybe once you get past a year out from the game, it might not be as likely anymore. But we have till November, so I'm a little bit hopeful that we get a little bit more content for that game, which would be dope. So that's what I got. Like I mentioned earlier, if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. I could do some deeper dives on specific games, put together more well thought out experiences that I've had. And like I said, for some games, like I don't think I could do a really long video on like A Link to the Past, for example, but I could do a long video on Tears of the Kingdom or Twilight Princess or even Skyward Sword, Wind Waker. Like literally like going through piece by piece of the game and like recalling things. This was kind of just like me trying to collect my memories of these games and put them into a little video for you guys. It's gonna be a beefy one. I'm at a minute, or not a minute, oh my god, an hour and 21 minutes as of this recording. So I'm sure I'm gonna cut some stuff out, but it's gonna be a beefy video, and I really wanted to get this out to you guys on Saturday, on the anniversary. But what happened was, I tested my mic and it was working, and then when I went to go, I gathered all the clips I wanted to put into this, and when I went to go do it, it didn't record like my audio for the first half hour, and I was really pissed. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna record the whole thing. I did want to get around to it on Sunday, but I really needed a veg day. So here I am today, spieling about Zelda for another hour and a half again. If you like it, you know, let me know. Drop some likes, that definitely helps. Subscribe if you haven't. If you don't know who I am, I'm Skyward Sword. I stream games here on YouTube on Tuesdays and Thursdays as of right now. On Thursdays, I have a thing with the members in the Discord channel. If you are the Hero of Hyrule or Guardian tier, you have access to the Discord chat. And you can post things that I just ask aren't overly inappropriate, that are gonna basically flag my channel, or any copyright type, like movies, songs, artworks, etc. Like those type of things. I please ask you to refrain from posting those, but I go over those at the beginning of Thursday streams now. And if I don't have anything, that's fine too. You know, whenever there is stuff in there, that's what I'll do on Thursdays. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know some of your most valued Zelda memories, your favorite moments in the games, some of your games experiences, events you might have went to, whether they're actually like related to the game or it was like a fan service type thing. Like you went to some kind of convention or whatever and you saw a bunch of Zelda characters and it was really cool, or you went dressed as Zelda characters. Like, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear you guys' stories, and I will catch you guys later. Happy 40th of Zelda, and have a good one. Bye.